I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody, I fear nobody. I walk like a champion.
Joe was selling.
Bro, it's been John. I don't know if you've seen, but like
Joe looked like Mark Andrews in the motherfucking playoffs.
I'm telling you this, John. Like the American Civil War wasn't as gruesome as what's happening in Nets Twitter right now. It's
Really?
Bro. Since Game 7, it's literally been. I'll send you the picture, or I'll send you the tweet, bro. Every like 4 or 5 days, niggas is arguing about Joe Harris.
Signing
And it's like
Hardaway Jr. for Joe Harris.
Look, man, Joe Harris is not untouchable. All right. And I think there's a few people that don't understand this. Like, I'm not saying I want to trade Joe, but if you can trade Joe to get a 3-and-D guy, maybe somebody to bolster that front court, you do it. But if you're just going to trade him for the sake of trading him, that's just stupid. And Sean Marks would never do that.
Who else do you have?
It's just bad basketball.
That we can.
Who else that we have that you would want? Spence, Joe. You could use a you could use a Bruce Brown, but we're not going to give him to you.
You're not going to trade Bruce Brown.
What do you call it? Claxton is the next Hakeem, but
Jesus Christ.
But he's still young.
How about this? How about we do Porzingis and Dorian for Dinwiddie and Joe?
No, funny. You guys probably hang up the phone. I feel like that trade. More. Yeah, like honestly, that it helps
you guys way more.
It does help us way more, but at the same time, and bro, that would be I would love to. I would honestly maybe get League Pass just to watch you guys every night if you guys had Joe and Spence along with Luka. Yeah, I'd be tuning in like
putting up like 140 a game.
Dog, like that shit would be great. Then come playoff time and Joe's going 1 for 7 from 3, and you're like,
it's all right because we got Spence and Luka.
Yeah, I thought it was all right too because I had Kevin Durant, and yet
Well, listen,
which is what do you call it? Which I guess
Luka's
my last
done more with less, and Luka has had less than both Kevin Durant and James Harden. So,
you know what's interesting? Like my last point on the finals, and we can wrap this up is so Giannis in his post game, right, was talking about like not going to a super team, et cetera, right? But I remember like before the Nets Bucks series, there was some analysts, it was some basketball writers, some of my favorites actually, that had the Bucks winning in 7, right? Like, granted, this was Harden, KD, Kyrie versus Giannis, Drew, and Holiday. I mean, sorry, Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday. So like my question is like, what if you can have people picking this non-super team to beat a super team? Like, doesn't that kind of bolster that non-super team up into that kind of stratosphere? Because it wasn't like they were talking about like, oh yeah, the Bucks have it because of like their depth and everything. It was just like, yeah, I think Giannis and KD
wasn't why.
Out. What?
That wasn't why.
It was mostly under the guise that Drew would, keep Kyrie under containment. Giannis and KD were superstars that were just kind of a wash. So then it would be just kind of, who outplays who, Middleton and Harden.
I'll tell you what, Chris Middleton's playoff record might be better than Harden's at this point. So not regular, but I mean his playoff performances.
I'd still take Harden.
I would too.
I'd still take. But no, my question is like, all right, so like, how do we like? Are super teams only defined by player movement and because of the player empowerment, or is it? I think the Warriors before KD could be considered a super team, or naturally, like, what's the difference between like a naturally formed super team and I guess super team?
Or that I think it goes into 2 parts, which one is like the formation of it. Like if you build through the draft, like y'all just drafted real well. I think the other thing is they have to actually be superstars. Yeah, like that's to me what a super team is. Superstars. I don't think Drew Holiday is a superstar.
No, I don't think so either.
Middleton's a superstar.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think Draymond Green's a superstar.
I don't think he's a superstar either.
So Harrison Barnes was a superstar. So that's what I really think goes into the super team thing. It's got to be more than two, and they got to all be superstars. So I think that part of the reason why that I mean, if they're trying to say that the Bucks should just win off rip without going into the depth of the Bucks, then they're just idiots. Because I
Well,
think
that's
that
why, because I was like, all right,
when
well,
you match
but, like
up, the Nets
the
have the
depth kind
superstar
of cancel
advantage,
each other out. Yeah.
but it's their bench and their depth is really what should be the difference. And that's how I felt before the series, before the injuries and stuff like that. I felt like the team. I still thought the Nets are the team to beat, but barring injury, the team that had the best chance were the Bucks, because they match up well enough and have a deep roster. You know.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you lose two superstars. You know, you're kind of relying on a guy that's a primarily catch and shoot guy to be, I guess, your second. I mean, he basically got propelled to be your second best player.
Nah,
And,
I don't like this.
no,
I
I'm
don't
not.
like
I'm
this
not saying
because all
he
you're talking
was.
about is how Joe Harris is way more than a catch and shoot. And all you for the past 3 years, all I hear about is everything Joe Harris does that's not a shooter. You're like, he's not even just a shooter. He just happens to shoot real well. He does everything else.
I
That's what I've been
lied.
hearing from you for
I
how many
lied.
years now?
That's okay. I've been lying about my height for like the last 25 years. Who cares? No, but I will say,
You've
look,
been lying about your height your entire life.
my height varies between 5'7" and 5'9", depending on what day of the week you ask me.
Okay, depending on what pair of shoes you got on.
Exactly. Am I wearing Tim's or not? Because then I'll give you a straight answer. But no, it's funny because I just wrote an article about this, and I had to be like, come to a hard truth about Joe Harris. Is like, yeah, like he's not a Duncan Robinson or a JJ Redick. Like he does not primarily just shoot, but he's closer to a one-dimensional guy than he is to an all-around guy. When you look at what he really does, he's a great finisher, right? But he can never get to the rim by himself. I'll never ask, hey, Joe, could you possibly go one-on-one? Never. His defense is trash, and his rebounding is pretty like for a guy of his size when you compare it to like Pat Connaughton, who's just about the same size, but can give you on any given night an 8, 9, 10 rebound performance when his shot isn't falling. Whereas Joe, if his shot's not falling,
he's like, well, I guess I'll just keep shooting till it goes in.
Yeah, it's like there's not really much else. It's not much he's going to impact. Joe he's a phenomenal shooter. I still think he's one of the greatest in the game right now. But when you peel back the layers of fandom, it's like, all right, he's great, but he's not untouchable. He's not as great as
who do you think's the greatest non-superstar shooter in the game right now?
The greatest non-superstar shooter? Joe Harris.
Really?
Yes, I still think it's Joe Harris.
I think Duncan might be better than him.
Nah, Duncan can kick rocks.
Just pure shooting, I think Duncan might have it, honestly.
Pure shooting, I'll take Joe. Look, are we talking regular season or postseason? Because that makes a difference.
Period. I just think Duncan is just insane.
Hey, look, I have no qualms.
Man came from D3 to the league simply off the fact that this man.
I have no qualms with Duncan Robinson. But if I had to do my top 3 non-superstar 3-point shooters in no particular order, Joe Harris, Buddy Hield, Duncan Robinson. That'd be my top 3 in no particular order.
And I'd still Steph take Curry at 4.
What?
Steph Curry at 4.
And then we have Meth Curry bringing up the rear. Tyler Johnson. No, when they called him Meth Curry during that Heat Sixers series, that shit was jokes.
Oh my god, Meth Curry is crazy.
Nah, they did because it was that first playoff run for the Sixers with the process, and they were facing the Heat, and the Heat had Goran Dragic, Tyler Johnson, and Olynyk, and they're like, "Yo, this is the cast. This is either the cast from Shameless." Or they just picked up 3 people from Fishtown. No, not Fishtown. What was it? Kensington in Philly gave them uniforms.
Bruh, Meth Curry is crazy.
Meth Curry, that's a fantastic nickname. And he just got verified.
Not if you're Tyler Johnson, though.
that's Black King Tyler Johnson.
Yo, excuse me.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, I guess that's about it. It's not because I really don't feel like going into like all the BS like NBA Twitter talk and like all these comparisons and shit. The worst thing I saw today was did you see the shit where it said is Giannis's 1 ring better than Kevin Durant's 2? And I'm like, well, math class told me 2 is greater than 1, so I gotta kind of go with math on this.
I still think that the strongest 1 ring of the past 20 years is Dirk's. So
I'm gonna say it's got to be either. I would say it's either. I would put Dirk and then I'd put Kawhi.
Kawhi's was pretty good.
So
but at the same time, like KD got hurt, you know.
No, he did, but it was still. I mean, he still had.
Yeah, it's still pretty good, but like the reason why I feel like
Clay
Dirk's
went
in
down
the class of his own is because them motherfuckers was at full strength.
What was it? Clay went down in Game 6, right? In
that
series. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, up until then, but I mean, we're still going up against Steph and Dre, and then the Warriors just as a whole is still an impressive feat. But yeah, everything else has just been dominated by the Lakers, LeBron, the Spurs, with your spattering of the Pistons, the Dirk one. So yeah. I would say
it's a good win for Giannis. Like to me, I think he's like literally like probably him and Luka are like the most pure superstars in the league. Like motherfuckers just like to play. They just like to work hard and like they just like to have fun. Like I don't get like to me you can't hate on Giannis like that, man. You really can't. We can
tell that to
we'll give him his smoke, you know what I mean, the way like we have been. But like you can't hate on him as a person. You know what I mean? Like
I was gonna say I think he was reckless, and do I still blame him for hurting Kyrie? A little bit. He was a little bit reckless there. I still have a little bit of animosity there, but I'm not gonna hate him. I don't think he was doing it because he really wanted to hurt Kyrie. I just think it was one of those things where just free play could he
man, it just happened.
Free play could he have been a little bit more careful? Probably, but look, shit happens. But I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, Giannis is the worst human being on the face of the planet. Like he's not. He seems like a really wholesome dude. You know, he's a family guy. So
the journey he had to get here, man.
Yeah.
They're talking about like when they showed the video of from his Instagram live where he was talking to Thanasis, and they were like they used to switch shoes mid-game.
Switch shoes, yeah, I remember that.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, man. But all that being said, he's still the second on Antetokounmpo to win a ring, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Coast is out here with the ring first.
Oh man.
Johnny, now you know what this means, right? Because the Coast is one last.
He
has to leave and win one on his own. Complete the trifecta. That will then officially make them the greatest basketball brothers ever. Because before this, I would say the Holidays were probably the best overall trio. Yeah. Because all three of them actually contribute to teams, whereas Kostas and Thanasis really don't. Yeah. But hey, look, the Holidays are losing 2-1 in the rings category right now. Well, Drew got his, but we need Justin and Aaron to pick it up. You know.
Bro, Thanasis is about to go join the Nets. That's who's gonna be if Jeff Green and Blake leaves. You're gonna get.
I don't want Thanasis on my team. Screw that guy. He's just a Greek Theo Pinson. Get him out of here. It's like no shade to Theo Pinson because Theo Pinson's my guy. I love Theo Pinson, but let's be honest, Thanasis dead to just be a cheerleader on the sideline. Comes in for like one play. I mean, let's look. His life should have ended in Game 3 when Kyrie hit him with that cross at the end of the second quarter.
His life should have ended,
bro. He should have quit basketball. Nah, son came in dumb hype, called off. Bro, they got the switch. He called off the switch just for Kyrie to put him on the floor. Oh man, I'm just saying.
PJ Tucker got his ankles exploded last night too.
Bro, everyone didn't CP get his ankles exploded in like Game 2 or something like that.
Yeah, but it became bad. PJ's is dead ass on the floor looking at Devin Booker miss that 3-pointer.
That's future net PJ Tucker as well.
Oof, probably. That's the last thing on touches this finals. PJ Tucker beat all his Rocket starters on the way.
Crazy, right?
I haven't that's jokes, man.
Oh boy. That plane ride is gonna be. I feel like people are making jokes about it. I mean, I feel like it's not gonna be as awkward as people think it is with Drew, Middleton, and Book. Because I feel like dudes are just, it is what it is. Like it's a brotherhood. It's just like, all right, you got us.
They need time because Book being the guy. To me, it's like it'll be a little bit like remember when Jamal and Donovan were battling in the bubble, and like Donovan was like, this motherfucker put 60.
Like, when he took the video of him,
they were eating lunch. Yeah, they're like this motherfucker puts like that shit. You know what I mean? But like, it's a little different when it's in the finals and you're the guy. I think Book is going to be a little bit sour for a little bit longer. I think he's going to need some time to process. But especially because Drew that fucking clamped him up.
But I'm gonna say they about to be joining KD. KD on Team USA. KD got beat by what do you call it?
Yeah, Drew but KD got his rings already.
That's true.
And KD most likely going back. You may never see Booker in another finals for the rest of his career. So
to be honest, we may never see Book, Middleton, or Drew in another finals again. But hey, we enjoyed it while it lasted. I thought this was a pretty this wasn't the worst finals ever. I thought they were some pretty enjoyable games.
Yeah, this was a fun outside of the one blowout. Like these were good games.
Great games, great performances all around. Shout out Monty Williams. Heck of a year as a coach. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to do it again, but hey, we're in it for the journey, not the destination. And with that has to conclude episode 99 of the Saratoga Sports Pod.
Yes. We are waiting for Anime Book Club to continue next week as we wait for Miles to get back. We did not want to miss him with these episodes on the series. And not a whole lot of sports. So just two of us this week. And make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Saratoga Sports. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Offended Narwhal. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Follow me on the Twitters, J_Thomas_24. Probably got my last basketball article coming out in a few because I'm just tired.
Fair.
And
you're right about the football starts, not baseball.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I was gonna take a few weeks off until the Jets stuff starts. So follow us on the TikToks as well. We're out here pushing numbers, but not on the stuff that I actually think would have pushed numbers. But that's besides the point. Later, everybody.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I'm so cold.